Welcome back, everybody, to It's Your World podcast. On a serious note, first and foremost, I want to give my condolences to the moms and dads that actually have lived through the trials and turbulence of the gun violence that we have to this date. I want to introduce good friends of mine, Hector, Ricardo. You want to tell them a little bit about yourself, Ricardo?
Hi everyone, my name is Ricardo. I've known Art for quite some time. Currently what I do is I own a web agency and also a cleaning company as well. And I'm excited to be on the podcast.
How about you, Hector? Tell them a little bit about yourself.
Yeah, Hector Polito, lifelong resident of Aurora, Illinois, father of two, grew up, in Aurora, and heard about the topic. I thought it would be cool to jump on.
And I'm really, really excited that you guys have the courage to be here. And basically, what we're going to do in this episode, just speak our mind in a father perspective. How many kids do you have?
I got
Ricardo?
two kids, man. I got a 6-year-old. He just turned 6. And then I also got a 1-year-old daughter.
1-year-old. Okay,
Yeah.
so they're barely going to go to school.
Yeah, I got my son's already in kindergarten right
Kindergarten.
now. Yeah.
What about you, Hector?
I have an 8 and a 10-year-old.
So they're already in elementary. All right. I have one little princess. She's in middle school, and I thought it was very, very important. Since we don't have a clue what some people have lived, we want to judge us because the ones that have lived, they might tell us we don't have a clue. And you're totally, absolutely correct. But if us that have not lived through that, don't start thinking about it, like I said in the previous episode on the preview, then how are we going to make a change? So my next question to you guys would be, what do you guys actually think, first of all, about what's going on at this moment in time?
Yeah, I mean, obviously, it's it's a tragedy. Like, you don't want school to be a place where you have to think about that kind of stuff. I know me personally, when I went to school, I probably can speak for you guys too. You never had to think about school shootings. The worst probably is getting shaken down for your lunch money, right?
Uh-huh.
But you never had to think about
Or a tornado drill.
Yeah, or people bringing guns to school. And so the fact that, one, our kids, we have to answer questions that our kids have, right? We don't want to do that. And then two, that we have to kind of have that in the back of our mind. It's kind of crazy.
Yeah. What about you, Ricardo?
Well, I think it's kind of interesting that, when I went to, or when we went to high school, the school shootings happened, in a high school setting. Mm-hmm. And then now it looks like more frequently it's happening in elementary school.
Yeah.
We
have to stop and think about that.
And
right?
it's like, damn, my son is in elementary school. I mean, it can happen to him,
Yeah.
at any moment. So, I guess sometimes what I think about as a parent is what can the schools be doing better to ensure that, my son and his classmates and the teachers that work there are actually safe. Because if I'm not mistaken, I believe the school that he goes to a public school. I don't think they don't have a resource officer there. So,
Gotcha.
their first lines of defense is a locked door.
Correct.
And we know that, unfortunately, that doesn't work.
Recently we knew that,
yeah,
yeah.
I mean, just shoot through the door and, you're already inside. So, I just hope that the leaders in the communities can come together and find a solution to kind of help better protect our kids.
Well, I have an opinion about that. I think from the last shooting that happened, it was years ago, almost a decade ago. And what I'm trying to say is this: do we really have more time for the superiors to come up with another concept, another thing that it might work? I don't think so. Because supposedly they're the ones in charge, and everything's the same. As a matter of fact, it's getting worse. What do you think, in your opinion, at the top of your head, if you can come up with, fine. If not, that's also cool. That they should make a change of in the schools to protect our kids.
It's a complex question, right? Like, we obviously have a problem, but I personally, I think any solution is kind of a Band-Aid fix.
Correct.
I think foundationally, like, at the core of it, like, there's something else going on, right? I think personally, as a society, the more that we've gotten away from faith and two parents in the home, I think the more that we've seen that happen. Right. Not to say that, like, and I'm not by means like a school shooting like expert, and I don't know like the backgrounds of like all the mass shooters that have happened, right? But I just think like a lot of our issues foundationally, the more we've gotten away from faith and the more we've gotten away from like two parents in the home, like being involved.
Yeah.
I think the more that we've seen, stuff like this going
What do you
on.
think, Ricardo?
Yeah, I mean that's. No, I guess sometimes we just don't think about. I mean, we live such a busy lives. Some of us got two jobs, some of us has one job, but they're 12-hour days, and I think sometimes we just forget like what happens at home.
Correct.
And I totally agree with Hector that sometimes it starts at a foundation core, and the parents really got to do a better job at make sure that they're educating their kids, but at the
Yeah,
same
correct.
time teaching them properly because I'm not sure if you know what happened just recently in downtown Chicago, but there was like a big riot and it was nothing but teenagers, and
Correct.
they interviewed one of an individual there, and they go, dude, it just starts at home. Where are the parents at?
Correct. And
Where are the
a
parents
lot of
at?
people don't want to take accountability for it or make excuses. I think at this moment in time, we have to stop that. If you were to ask me, what would I change so I can have my kids safe and you guys as well? Like I said at the beginning of the podcast when I first started, your shit's not working. So I would want to think it's up to us to just not really necessarily talk about it, but be about it. We should just come up with stupid, crazy solutions that might not work. For me, for instance, I asked myself at the courthouse, all grown-ups, lots of badges, lots of guns. I really don't see a crazy person going in there and killing everybody. Hospitals, a lot of grown-ups, ill people. I really don't see crazy people going there and shooting. And I don't understand why the crazy people is going for the most vulnerable, which is our kids, the ones that actually don't have a safety net. So in my suggestion would be start anything. We know doors that are locked don't work. I would actually put a police in the front, a police in the back, and at least it would save the time being for the cops to get there when there is a shooting and give the kids a chance. That's just one of my opinions. I would hope you guys can write what's your opinion, but it's got to be something realistic. It's got to be something like versus talking about it.
You think that part of it, the reason why that there isn't more of a safety net or having like police officers at schools has to do with money?
I'm pretty sure, and they can make up whatever excuse they want, but at the end of the day, we're the taxpayers. At the end of the day, the kids are the most important things in our life. To change the other subject, I can only speak for myself because I have one, but I think if I had 20, it would be the same thing. If something, God forbid, would happen, something similar to the parents that did happen to, my life would end. I mean, my life would be senseless. I would be a menace to society. I would be no good to society. So you can put economics, you could put relationships, you could put everything in front of me. Everything would be irrelevant to my future. So at the end of the day, not only do you hurt a child's life and prohibit them from living a beautiful life that they have a chance to, but you also messed up my life, my wife's life, everybody's life. So at the end of the day, yeah, it's got to do with money, but if it is about money, we're taxpayers, right?
Yeah.
So why don't we just get together and actually have not the cop at the street giving tickets?
Yeah.
Why don't we have one cop in the front, one cop in the back, well trained?
Yeah.
And I think that would stop a little bit,
Yeah.
or at least discourage the crazy person that's going to try to do harm.
What do you guys think are like 2 or 3 things that are not happening right now in the schools that should be happening to make sure that the kids are safe?
Go ahead.
I think structure and discipline, specifically in the public schools, is something that is lacking. I speak from personal experience. I personally went to Catholic school, private school, since I was a little kid all the way to, when I got to high school, and then I went to public school. But there was a lot of structure and discipline that matched my upbringing at home, right? When my kids started going to school, it just so happened that the elementary school right by us was probably not the best in Aurora.
Correct.
And so we're like, all right, well, and it happened to be that, preschool was cheaper at Catholic school than daycare. So we're like, all right, let's do private school. And obviously I knew of it. My wife wasn't really familiar with the experience. And so, we both fell in love with it.
Nice.
And so the kids, went to private school. we moved. And so we moved, and the plan was, hey, we're gonna move into a better school district, so the kids are gonna go to public school.
Yeah, and I passed by a public school down the street, and it just seems like they have a little bit more structure. They all dress the same. To me, that's a wonderful thing because there's no discrimination. There's no, you look better, you got the better Nikes, this and that. that I believe makes a big.
So they went to public school for a year, and I went on 2 field trips with each my son and my daughter, and you would not believe, like, just it was a madhouse on the bus.
Yes.
Like, and I'm in my back of my mind, I was like, there's no way that it would be like this, like at private school.
Correct.
And just no homework. And I know there's probably thoughts on there like homework's not effective, but it does teach you responsibility and meeting deadlines, which is, as an adult, you have to do, right? And so ultimately we made the choice, and we ended up putting them back in private school. And so, and not to say that they're any safer, right? Because obviously, like,
Can't
the
happen anywhere.
shooting, they just shot the door down and got in, right? And so, I think just structure and discipline is what's lacking in public schools, and you don't get that in public.
And that's all great and dandy, and I'm with you. You know, everything's good for the positive things in life, but the reality of things is that a lot of those points of view go out the window when it happens. And I have one thing to say: evil has no face. You know, we would never think this young lady not too long ago did that. You would never think a child that just shot a teacher would do that. So newsflash, everybody: evil has no face. So there's really nothing that we can sit here and point fingers at or try to have a discussion about it because we don't know where it's coming from. But I think we just start from the basement, from the ground up. Put more police in the front and the back. I know it's not a good look, right, for public schools, but I can go to work and
be at peace
feel
almost,
a little
right?
better about the situations. What would you do? Just imagine. Well, just imagine, because I can't even imagine. What would you do if one of those terrible scenarios happened to you?
My heart would be racing, man. I mean, it's like one of those things.
Have you ever given it a thought?
No, man. I mean,
Have you ever given
I'm a busybody,
deep
and
thought?
it's something that I really don't think about because I guess like part of it in the back of my mind is that, oh, well, my son's safe,
Correct.
right? Like he's with teachers and his classmate. Yeah, he's safe, But I never really thought about it because I think part of it is that it hasn't really hit home yet.
What about you, Michael? Have you given it a thought, like, if this happened to me today?
I've never really given it a thought. I have thought of the people that, you'll see parents in an outrage when it happens to them, and they're on the news, and they're either one or two sides, right? They're either A, demanding for like gun reform, or B, demanding for more, guns or more armed guards in the schools. And I try to think, like, what was their perspective prior to that, right? Were they really passionate about it? And the answer's probably not, right? And I try to think, like, what way would I fall in? And I really don't know, right? Like,
and let's be honest, man. When it's in the news, when it's in public view, yeah, it's hot for a minute, for a week or two, and then next subject.
Fades away.
Subject.
Yeah.
And this, I'm glad I asked that question. So I want to believe you have to give it a thought. You have to give it a thought. To be honest with you, I do. That's why I say I even get choked up. I could not imagine. So the people that did happen to, they would tell us, you guys have no clue. And we don't. But if all of us really go home today and close our eyes and hear those screams that I posted earlier, and imagine it's yours. Imagine how your life would turn out. I mean, like I said it before, my life would be senseless. There's no point in living in my situation. So we don't have to wait till it happens to us. I want to say at least we started here today doing something. But like I said, this platform is raw and authentic. We got to give it to the hierarchy straight. Enough is enough. Either you take care of business, or we're gonna have to start taking care of business for you. Because if things happen, don't expect us to be cordial and respectful to you. If we foresee something coming, we have to take matters into our own hands, because at the end of the day, we've been letting whoever's in charge take care of business, and it's obvious that you're not doing your job. And I hate to say, with all your respect, because I don't even understand what what the protocols are, this and that. But at the end of the day, it's just common sense. Let's try to save our kids. Let's give our kids another a future, an opportunity. So every parent out there has to close their eyes tonight, whoever sees this podcast, and give it just a thought. And it's a terrible one. It's a terrible thing for me to ask for you, but it's important. You know, we don't want to say we never thought about it, and that's the way we got to start living in this moment in time. What do you think about that?
Yeah, I mean, I guess sometimes we just have to reflect. You know, I think a lot of us watch the news and we know what's going on, and I think we just gotta sit down and say, hey, what if this happened to me? How am I gonna react? But I think the biggest question is that what is it that we can be doing right now, or what is it that you can be doing right now to go ahead and make an impact and make a change? You know, one voice can definitely start a path or a change or a law.
Yes.
So that's why it's nice to have talk about these subjects and these topics, because we really don't talk about it. And you know, let's be real. I mean, we don't talk about it among our brothers. Among other fathers, right? I mean, this is
fathers. Have you ever talked about that?
No, never.
Neither have I, to be honest with you. But that's, I think. Okay, so we're here with the fatherly view, right?
Yeah.
So we're here, us three, to be honest with the people, with ourselves. No, we don't talk about it as much. We talk about
other stuff.
Other stuff, and you know what? We do have to start and sitting down and every Sunday have a drink and start changing our minds, changing our point of view. I know you have a certain lifestyle. You grew up, you as well.
Right.
I did as well. But at the end of the day, we're a melting pot. Everybody, it's one. And I don't know if you guys noticed in the preview, I said a place where we live. I didn't say United States of America. Mm-hmm. I said the States. Because I feel like we're not united at this moment in time. Mm-hmm. And I feel like the America I believe in is not here at this moment in time. So hopefully, you know, it won't be the place we live in, which is States. It should be United People of America. You know, that's what I had to just emphasize why maybe people were asking me, you know, why you say the place we live in was just the States.
Right.
So to me, it made sense that we have to be united so we can actually call it what it is that we lived in. So would you have anything else to add, Hector, to this point of view?
No, I mean, I appreciate, you know, it's obviously a heavy topic and one that, you know, I think it does warrant, you know, discussion amongst friends and family. You know, at the very least to find out, like, hey, how do you talk to your kids about it? Because I know that's something that my kids will ask me questions and I'm like, hey,
Yeah.
what do I say? You know, like, you know, sometimes you're like, 8 and 10, right? Like, am I giving them too much or am I kind of sugarcoating it too much? You know?
So you think you're going to talk to your other buddies about this situation next time you meet them, you know, at the cookout and this and that? What about you, Rick?
Yeah. I think it's you know, it's funny because, you know, you asked us the question of, like, you know, have you ever put what would you do if that situation happened to you? And you kind of talked about, you know, your explanation, but you know, that's such a deep question.
It is.
That I think most of the guys would be like, damn, like I never really thought about what would happen.
And
in
everybody's
this case.
different mind. Everybody acts different, right? Some people close down, shut down, drink. But at the end of the day, all of those things
Could happen.
Life won't be the same. Life won't be the same. So my hat goes off to all those parents that have lived through it and the relatives. I cannot imagine what you guys go through. And I know you guys are out there protesting. I know you guys are out there speaking your voice. Let's speak a little louder. Let's speak a little louder. Because at the end of the day, it's up to us as people, as normal people, to get together and start having discussion, you know, in our cookouts and our family gathering, not just about the norm, but let's put individuals, especially Latino men.
Yeah.
We don't have these conversations. We don't have conversations of positive conversations. We normally just talk BS.
Yeah.
You know, just and at some point in time, because we have kids and we want the best for them, we have to start changing ourselves. And I said it prior to this episode. If you want to make a change, it starts with you. So that's what I think we're gonna take on this day from now on. Because I am just as equal as them. I speak about it, but I don't speak loud enough. So I think my voice is gonna start being heard, and I believe your voice, and I believe your voice is gonna start being heard. You guys have anything else to add to this little episode here?
No, man, I really appreciate you bringing me on the episode. It means a lot, and also thank you for helping me think about certain topics that I normally don't think about. And now it's like I can go home and have a conversation with my wife about it, and amongst friends and brothers and family and things like that, and hopefully this can spark a change.
And I appreciate your courage, man. I
Thanks a lot,
appreciate
man.
your courage. What about you, Hector?
No, I mean, again, appreciate having us on. Very thought-provoking conversation. And
Without you guys, this is not it. So I greatly appreciate your courage to be here. And like I said, everyone, it's your World Podcast. Sadly enough, we're having this discussion, but it's a very important discussion to be having. And I hope you guys have a comment on this episode and write us and give us your thoughts. And if you don't write, we don't know what you guys are thinking. So just give us a shout. It's your man Art. Nothing but peace and love. Wish the best for you guys. Thank you. Have a good day.